The next thing that I want to talk about is automated. So we've talked about those were the automated initial text messages. Now we're going to talk about the automated follow-up sequences. So from left to right, this is our lead funnel. You're not supposed to be able to read this, by the way. It's just a concept, okay? So from the left to the right, this is your sales pipeline. Every single time you see an orange block, an orange blob circle, that's a follow-up sequence. And the reason for that is because you need to meet people where they are. What I mean by that is a lead that just came in, you're going to use different verbiage to them when the lead just came in versus you've already triaged them versus you went through the perfect presentation and they said no versus you have them under contract and then they're going dark on you, right? So in each of these segments is an opportunity for them to fall out of your funnel, and you can't just throw them on some like plain Jane out-of-the-box follow-up sequence. You need to bring the conversation to them and talk to them where they are. I want to tell you a quick story about that. Not too long ago, I had a lady who called me, and she popped into my sales funnel, respond to seller, so I called her back. We started the triage call, so can you tell me a little bit about the house and kind of what you have going on with it? And she said, yeah, I'd love to tell you about my house, but first I kind of want to tell you what I have going on with it. Okay, that's fine, go ahead. And she took a big pause, and she already started to get choked up. And she said, well, first, I want to tell you that a little over a year and a half ago, my son calls me and my husband into his room. It was Father's Day. And he starts just kind of going crazy, just yelling at us and blaming us for stuff. After about 10 minutes, he reaches under the pillow, pulls out a revolver. As if that wasn't enough, 2 months later, her husband comes to her and says, the only reason why I was with you was for our boy. And now that he's gone, I have no reason to stick around. So he leaves her. And her family was super connected to her husband, and so her mother disowns her and her sister disowns her. By the way, I'm really making this super short, but can you imagine the flow of this conversation? It's very difficult for this woman to talk about the events of the last year and a half. And frankly, it was hard for me, and I had to mute myself several times because I'm choking back tears as she's telling me all of this stuff. So her family disowns her. Now we're getting into COVID time. This was a while back, right? Now we're getting into maybe 2021, and she loses her job. And in an effort to find another job, or while she was making the transition to her other job, she stopped making payments on her house. So at the time that she calls me, she's lost her son, she's lost her husband, she's lost her sister and her mother, she's lost her job, and she's about to lose her house. And she calls me and she says, Keith, first, I want to say sorry. And I'm a blubbering idiot. Why are you saying sorry to me? Like, I'm sorry. And she says, you're the only person in my life that didn't give up on me. You're the only person through that whole time that followed up in my whole life that didn't leave. And you called over and over and over again and left me text messages, and I just had so much going on in my life that I never got back to you. And for that, I'm sorry. And secondly, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for caring. So that's an example of meeting people where they are. And I would say that that's one of the most impactful stories that I have when it comes to these follow-up sequences. I've never talked to a seller like that previous to her or after her. But that freaking touched me. When you can be so prepared in writing pre-recorded, our ringless voicemails and text messages, and you're bending over backwards trying to help somebody that filled out a form. You don't know them, and you've never spoken with them. But talking to them and meeting them where they are is extremely important. Automated follow-up messages will help you get in contact with more people.